Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Get some music on. Good morning. Good morning. As you come in, definitely let me know where you're from. Okay. Give me your name, where you're from, and tell me a little bit about your business. What type of business do you run? Let me know. Let me know. Hey, good morning. How are you? Let me know where you're from in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a second. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is having an amazing start to their Memorial weekend. So interesting. I'm not used to being in the city. For years, me and my sisters used to go to Aruba for Memorial weekend. So hopefully we can get back to that next year. This year, I've got just too much going on. So not able to make it this year. But go ahead, drop your name in the chat. Let me know what city and state you are tuning in from. Yep, yep. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And we're going to go ahead and get started. How is everybody doing on this beautiful morning? Play a little bit of music while everybody's getting logged in. And we'll start in about 2 minutes. I got sunshine. Hey, Thomas from Dallas, Texas. So glad to have you. We're going to get started in about 1 minute. So you're not too far from where I am. I'm in Houston, Texas right now, even though I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. But I am here in Houston right now, where I was born and raised. And guys, as you come in, let me know where you're from. And also let me know what type of business that you're running that you need funding for, because that helps me to tailor my information to help you even more. Much money, the bees in the leaves. And the birds in the trees. Well, I guess you said, what can make me feel this way, my girl? All right, one more. Oh, okay. I grew up in Third Ward. Oh, okay. That's where I lived most of my time before I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm from Sunnyside, born and raised in Sunnyside. But when I came back after finishing at Tuskegee University, I moved to Third Ward. So I lived in Third Ward most of my adult life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we're going to give it 1 more minute and we're going to get started, guys, because I want to be very mindful of your time. I know it's Friday. Everybody wants to get to a happy hour or something later. So I totally get it. Oh, just baby, one man can complain. You said, what can make. All right, so let me bring my presentation up and we're going to go ahead and get started. Sun on a cloudy day. I even got the month of May. All righty. Let me pause the music because I love to dance. All right. Oh, Charlottesville. Okay, Charlottesville, Virginia. I lived in Virginia as well. I lived in that DMV area for a very long time, for actually 3 years. And so I love the DMV area. I'm not sure what Charlottesville is. I have some projects I want to speak privately about. Okay, so we'll get to that. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we are going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes many of you are probably making in your business that's keeping you from getting the funding that you need. All right, guys. So listen, I'm going to talk about how I was able to secure $29,000 for my business in 1 month, right? Just using the power of communication, articulation, right? Being able to communicate my why. And I'm gonna uncover three of the mistakes I see most commonly with small business owners and entrepreneurs, especially in the Black community when it comes to getting funded, right? And as we know, if you don't have capital in your business, if you don't have steady cash flow, very hard to run a business, right? So these are some of the things that might be keeping you from scaling your business. Okay. So, and if you stay to the end, guys, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck that I used to secure that $29,000. So literally the same pitch deck, and I'll show it to you right now, right? So if you stay to the end, you're going to receive the same pitch deck. And again, some of you are like, what is a pitch deck? A pitch deck is basically a presentation that you use when you're talking to equity investors, right? So if you're talking to venture capitalists or angel investors, the first thing they usually ask for is a pitch deck. And it basically tells them, what your business is about, what is the problem that you solve, what are the proposed solutions, how much money you're looking to receive from them. Okay. So that's what the pitch deck gives you. And I'll make sure I'll give that to you guys. So I am Seneca Dunmore. Most people call me the Pint Size Powerhouse. I am an international speaker. I'm an angel investor. I'm a speaker coach, right? I'm a global philanthropist, and I'll show you some more information about the work that I've done in different countries. I've been featured on, international and national publications. And, but I always tell people my favorite title is servant. My favorite title is Kingdom Financier. And some of you are like, what is a Kingdom Financier? A Kingdom Financier is basically, someone that God has commissioned to be a resource, a vessel, a conduit of finances, right? So I connect founders with funding. I connect founders with funders, okay? With the individuals who have the tools, the resources, the finances to help you grow and scale your business. Everybody understand that so far? And guys, when I got that $29,000, it wasn't like I got 1,000 here, 2,000 there, 3,000 there. Literally, it was only two investments. I got a $4,000 investment from JP Morgan Chase, who sponsored my first event. And the next one I got was a $25,000 angel investment from a gentleman I met through LinkedIn, of all places. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of LinkedIn. I was looking for angel investors, found this gentleman. We cultivated a great relationship. And so he was the one who gave me the $25,000 to start my Dunmore Capital Ventures business. And you probably, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you've probably seen a ton of information go out about some of the things I've got going on right now through my business. So let me tell you a little bit about me, guys. I grew up in Sunnyside, which is on the southeast side of Houston, Texas. And Sunnyside was considered the sixth most dangerous neighborhood in America at one point. Crime was par for the course. Drugs were running rampant in our community. And for all intents and purposes, we were labeled a bad neighborhood. But it wasn't until I, got a scholarship from Tuskegee University, went off to college, that I realized Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Sunnyside was an economically disenfranchised community. Okay. And what happens in economically disenfranchised communities? People are in survival mode. And so what I was seeing, the crime, the violence, it was a result of people in survival mode. They weren't bad people. These were just people who wanted to survive. And if that meant taking something from you in order for me to eat, they were more than willing to do that. Right. So just it's all about perception and how you think about it. Okay. Now, this is what I want you guys to brand in your memory. Brand this in your memory, okay? Relationships are the key to advocacy, and advocacy is the key to access. What is an advocate, right? These are the individuals who are going on your behalf and advocating for you when it comes to the funding. So let's say you go into a bank, you want to secure a $50,000 loan for your business, right? Maybe you need to buy some new equipment, maybe you need more inventory, maybe you need to make payroll, whatever the case may be. If you have not cultivated a relationship with the banker, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not getting the funds. Okay. You need to first cultivate a relationship with the banker because then that banker becomes your advocate and they're the one who advocates for you when they talk to the underwriters, right? Because the underwriters have to do their due diligence and see if you qualify for the funding, but those bankers can sway those decisions, right? They can be the ones to really advocate for you, especially if you've built rapport with them, if you've been banking at this institution for a while, if they know about your business. All of that is important. And again, guys, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll make sure that I get to them. All right. So again, I told y'all I'm a global philanthropist, right? A lot of the work that I do is in foreign countries like, Ghana, right? So I studied at the University of Ghana at their Institute of African Studies between 2019 and 2020, right before the pandemic hit. I was out there doing some research for my doctoral studies, and one of the best decisions I've ever made. And guess what? That whole trip was fully funded. I've also done medical missions in Luanda, Angola, one of the richest countries I've ever been to. It's absolutely amazing. Guess what? That conference was, I mean, that trip was fully funded. I've taught in South Africa. So in 2016, I went with a group of women, taught in South Africa. Hold on, guys, 1 second. One second. Let me just respond to something really quickly. Uh-oh. I did not mean to stop sharing my screen. So let me pull that back up. Give me 1 second, guys. I had someone who just sent me a message and I need to respond to them. All right, guys. So let's keep going. Okay. So I did some work in South Africa. Also, I've done 3 medical missions in Kenya. All of this through the power of crowdfunding. So again, there are different ways to get funding, right? There's traditional ways of getting funding, whether that be through banks, and investments, venture capital, and then also there's non-traditional ways of getting investments. Any questions so far? Let me check back to see if we have any questions. Can you make more than one angel investor? Can you use one, basically, can you use more than one angel investor? Is that what your question is? Absolutely. So you don't have to just work with one angel investor unless you sign where you give up so much equity in your business. But no, you don't only have to work with one angel investor. You can work with multiple angel investors. Have you worked with EB5? I'm not sure what EB5 is. Yes, it is being recorded. And so you can, if you're on LinkedIn, it'll be right there on LinkedIn. So you can always go back and look at it. All right, guys. So let's keep it moving. And this is the thing, guys. You are your greatest investment. Me investing in myself has taken me to over 45 countries. Okay. So you are your greatest investment. And let me tell you one of the biggest mistakes that most of you guys are making. Investors want to see proof, not potential. I'm going to say that again. Investors want to see proof, not potential. What do I mean by that? They want to see proof of what you're doing. So if you're running a business, they want to see what type of traction are you getting, right? They want to see, are you making sales? They want to see, can they get a return on their investment? Is your business profitable? Is there steady cash flow in your business? Now, again, they do take into consideration that we've just gotten through navigating a global pandemic. A lot of businesses were hurt. A lot of businesses, weren't making significant money, and that's okay. We understand that. But do you have, a system in place to really bring in that cash flow? Another thing, so here's some proof, right? So let me just give you some proof of some of the things that I've done. So this is a young lady who I went to school with. We went to elementary, middle school, and high school together. She approached me about wanting to become a confident, more compelling communicator. And as you guys know, I'm an international speaker myself, and I have a coaching program that teaches individuals how to become better speakers. And so after going through one of my programs, she ended up securing her first six-figure contract. Okay. So again, I'm not telling you stuff that I've heard. I'm telling you stuff that I've done. Another thing, this is Joy Jackson, who was released from her corporate job literally the day she started my coaching program. And now she has already replaced her salary as an entrepreneur. She's been on TED Talk. She's written a book, right? She has a very successful coaching and speaking business. And that was all by coming through my Powerhouse Professional Speaker program. And literally in less than 90 days, right, of being in my program, she secured her first 2 paid speaking engagements. Okay. Another young lady, this is Janae. Janae is phenomenal. She runs a human capital consulting firm, right? She's in that DEI space. And so, again, she came to me about wanting to pitch better, about wanting to become a better communicator. And after finishing one of my Confident, Compelling Communicator Accelerator programs, and that means it's just 2 or 3 days, she ended up picking up all of these contracts, right? We built out her signature talk and she was able to pick up all of these contracts. And now she makes an additional 5 figures in her business just with speaking. Okay. So again, you need more than people with influence in your network. You need advocates who have affluence. Do y'all know what I mean by that? Right? You need more than people who have influence. You need advocates who have affluence. Affluence meaning who have the financial resources to go along with the influence. Okay, Thomas, I want to share with you the EB5 program that will help our people secure funding. Send me some information to my LinkedIn so I can read over it before we meet. So before we meet, send me all the information that you have about that EB5 program because I've never heard of it before. So I want to look into it before we speak so that I can be well versed on it. All right. All right. So here again, this is why I'm such a huge advocate of LinkedIn. Some of the most phenomenal connections that I've made have been through LinkedIn. And this is one of them, right? This is Pat. He is a patent attorney for leading startups in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And he has unicorn clients, meaning clients who are valued at over $1 billion. One of the best connections I've ever made. He's a phenomenal individual. Okay. This is Brandon Ziegler, who is an angel investor. And then he also is the impact director for a global endowment firm. And he manages a $4.6 billion portfolio. Both of those gentlemen spoke at events for me. Okay. So that's why it's so important to be getting in the room with the people with affluence. That's why it's so important to be using resources like LinkedIn. 41% of millionaires have a LinkedIn account. 41% of the people who have a LinkedIn account make over the national average when it comes to annual salaries. Okay. So again, that's why it's so important to be on the right type of platforms. Now, you can still use your Facebooks and Instagrams and all of those things, but I've found that I've had the most success through LinkedIn because, again, LinkedIn is a business professional platform. Most people who come to this platform are already in the mindset of doing business, and that's the type of piece of people I target. I want to talk to people who are already wanting to do business. Okay. So, and let me tell you, again, making sure. So, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to skip over this, but you want to volunteer where the people with the money are. They're at conferences, they're at trade shows, they're at sporting events. Okay. If you don't have the money to pay for some of these conferences and trade shows, right, to be in those rooms directly, you can get in the room by volunteering. In 2018, I went to 3 different major conferences, right? I went to the Black Enterprise Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. They had another Women of Power Summit in Vegas. And then I went to the National Black MBA Association Conference in Detroit that year. So I was all over the place volunteering. But let me tell you what it afforded me. Number one, I met Sid Marshall, who's the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. Phenomenal human being. Okay, so you see us there. And then also, I've met the senior advisor to US Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. Supremely impressive woman. Most of you might be familiar with this gentleman, Farrah Gray, right? He's a millionaire, best-selling author. He's an investor. He's a speaker. We follow each other on Instagram. He's doing some amazing things. But the point I'm trying to make to you guys is, if you want to bring in more money in your business, you need to know more people with money. You need to cultivate more relationships with people who have money. Okay? So you got to make sure you're cultivating those relationships with people with money and who have the resources, the connections. And see, that's what a lot of people mess up at, right? Because they're on these platforms where it's all about entertainment, but it's not necessarily about moving the needle forward. And again, nothing wrong with being entertained. I love to laugh, right? I love TikTok. I'm always on there laughing at something, finding something. But when it comes to business, my business, right? LinkedIn is where it's at. All right. So guys, the quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. Can somebody tell me what social capital is? The quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. Can you tell me what social capital is? Can you tell me what social capital is? Does anybody know? I'm waiting. I want somebody to put something in the chat. And Thomas, I don't see your link, your connection request. So send me a connection request via LinkedIn and I'll make sure that I accept it. GoFundMe? No, not necessarily. GoFundMe is a crowdfunding site. I wouldn't necessarily say it's social capital. It can be viewed that way, but that's not necessarily what it is. Okay. So social capital is basically cultivating relationships, right? Knowing the right people, moving in the right spaces. So you can get a lot further knowing the right people than, all of having multiple credentials and things like that, when relationships that have formed over the years and pitch the ideas to them. Okay. Okay. I can see that. But yeah, so basically social capital is the people in your network, right? The people you're building, you're talking to, you're building rapport with, right? You're cultivating that relationship. Because again, the best time to ask for money is when you don't need it. So I was just having a conversation with a young lady in New York, and I was telling her, one of the things that I do is I cultivate those relationships before I need it. So by the time I do ask for something, right, it's a much easier ask because they know me. I built rapport with that person. That's social capital, okay? And that social capital will give you a clear pathway to the financial capital. And guys, let me just tell you about some of the some of the capital that's out there that I know about because these are some of my clients, right? These are the people that I deal with directly. So US Bank, and I had one of US Bank's representatives to speak at my last conference, right? They have $30 million in a fund, right? They have the Bank Access Fund. There's $30 million in that fund. 30,000 is allocated for 30,000 women of color owned micro business owners are scheduled to get that money. So if you're a woman owned business, right, then you need to be looking into those fundings. Also, remember I told y'all JP Morgan Chase was my very first conference sponsor. They have $2 billion in a fund, right, that they're looking to deploy to Black, Latina, and women-owned businesses. $2 billion, guys. And they're looking to deploy that over the next 5 years. And I want to say that started that fund back in 2021. So there's about 2 more years of those fundings still available. So again, if you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a startup, right? If you're a founder looking for more funding in your business, you need to be talking to a representative at JP Morgan Chase. You need to be cultivating some relationships over there. Also, PNC. I just started building a great relationship with PNC Bank. I have an amazing contact in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And so they were telling me that they have 88 billion in a community development initiative. 46 billion of that is for real estate and home lending. 26.5 billion of that, guys, is for small business lending. So they're looking for small business owners. Right, 14.5 billion is in community development financing, right? So if you're in real estate, if you are a business owner, especially a minority business, there's no reason why you should not be sitting with someone with PNC Bank and asking about that community development initiative. Okay, so again, those are just some of the clients that I work with, and the reason why I know about this funding is because I'm working directly with them. And remember, business is a team sport. You should be in business for yourself, but you should never be in business by yourself. If you're looking to grow and scale your business, it's going to take a team. It's going to take financial resources. You should not be trying to do it all by yourself. There's only so far you can get doing it all by yourself. Okay? So let me ask you a question. How many of you have applied for funding recently and haven't, and maybe you've been denied, or maybe you don't know how the process even works, right? You don't know how to get started. You don't know where to start. You don't know what funding is available. You don't know what funding vehicle is best for your business. Let me know. Let me know where you're standing right now. Okay. Let me know where you are in your business. Are you getting funding? Are you having a hard time accessing funding? I'm waiting on you guys. Let me see those comments. Because again, it helps me to better help you when I know what your pain points are. So once I know what your pain points are, I can better help you. Okay, nobody's saying anything. I'm going to keep on moving on. All right. So, guys, here's a solution. For most of you, you don't know where the funding is, you don't know how to access it. And the biggest problem is because you're not in spaces where the funders are. Okay? So what I've done, I've built a conference called Access Granted, where I pull all of the funders, right? The bankers, the wealth managers, the angel investors, the venture capitalists. I put all of them in the same room together. So now you don't have to worry about finding these individuals, right? They're going to be in the room to speak with you directly. And let me tell you, I have a stellar lineup this year, from left to right, right? You have Marley. Marley is a lawyer out of Brooklyn, New York. He deals with business structuring, right? So helping individuals to protect their assets, grow their wealth, minimize their taxes and liabilities, and maximize profit, right? And you can do all of that through business structuring. Marley deals with multi-billion-dollar firms. So showing you how to build yours is a walk in the park. Okay, you have Williams Brack, who came out of the banking space, right? He used to be the vice president for Regions Bank. You have Christopher Senegal, who is a real estate investor and developer here in Houston community. He has over $100 million in real estate projects going on right now in Houston. You have Abraham J. Williamson, who is a tech startup attorney. He's also a venture capitalist out of Nashville, Tennessee. Right there, you see me in the middle, Seneca Dunmore. I'm an angel investor. I'm an international speaker, right? And I am the founder and CEO of Dunmore Capital Ventures, who is responsible for this Access Granted conference. Next to me, you have Dr. Shantae, who is an impact and venture investor. She has a global organization called Black Pearl Global Investments. Okay. And so she's always looking for individuals to invest in. Next to her, you have Adonis Lockett, who is a real estate investor out of Dallas, Texas. He also runs a hedge fund that he's raising $100 million for. I think they're already at 60 million. Next to him, you have Pedro Moore, who is the venture capital advisor for Daymond John on Shark Tank. Okay. And last but not least, you have Polly, who deals with financial and asset planning. So guys, I have one of the most comprehensive groups. And all of these individuals will show you how to, get more funding in your business. Now, let me tell you what you get if you do come to the Access Granted Conference. The conference is going to be here in Houston, Texas, June 16th and 17th at the Marriott Marquis downtown. Okay. So you're going to get a welcome package from me and sponsors. You're going to get an exquisite 3-course dining experience, right? Valued at $100. We're going to do a cocktails in the courtyard, a business networking experience, right? $158 value. You're going to get a 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course because, again, what did I tell y'all? A lot of y'all aren't using LinkedIn properly. If you aren't making money on LinkedIn, you are not using it correctly. Some of my best contracts, some of my best clients, right? Some of my best investors have come through LinkedIn. I am a huge LinkedIn advocate. Okay. And then not only are you going to get that, you're going to get all access to the keynotes and breakout sessions the day of conference, valued at $1,497, a total value of $1,997. Now, I don't want you guys to get scared. You're like, oh my God, 97. I don't know if I have that type of money right now. Stay tuned, right? Because again, I told y'all, I'm gonna already give y'all the same pitch deck that got me the $29,000 last year in October in the middle of a pandemic. Okay. And there's still tons of resources out there right now. And again, the reason why a lot of you are frustrated in your funding journey is because you're talking to the wrong people. You're talking to people who signed you're not talking to the people who signed the front of the checks. You're talking to the people who signed the back of the checks. Two totally different conversations. The people who signed at the back of the checks don't have the authority, right, to allocate the funding. You need to be talking to the people who signed the front of the checks. Do I have any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right. So again, you're going to have access to all the keynote and breakout sessions with all of these individuals here, right? You're going to get a 3-course dining experience. You're going to get the cocktails in the courtyard, right? So now you get to mix and mingle with the investors. You get to talk to other like-minded business professionals. That's the type of room you need to be in. Okay. And you're going to get my monetized LinkedIn e-course. Again, I've made thousands of dollars through LinkedIn. And here are some of the people who have come through my conferences. This young lady came to my first and second conference. See, she secured a $10,000 grant last year, and she's already, up until now, she's received $76,000 in grant funding. And remember, as long as you meet the terms and conditions of the grant, that's money you never have to pay back. This young lady came to my conference last March, and she just secured $5,000 in a pitch competition. And guess what? Her vodka company, Red Rose Vodka, is now in every major retailer across the United States. Okay. How cool is that? And this picture is one of my most proudest moments, right? I was hired in 2020 by a community nonprofit. They hired me to build a digital literacy program for them because, again, my master's is in information technology, if I didn't tell you guys that. Okay. I worked with an amazing grant writer, and together we were able to secure $5.4 million in grant funding for that program. So me and another grant writer were able to secure $5.4 million for that program for 2 years. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot I can do with $5.4 million in 2 years. Okay. So let me ask you this question. If all this did was give you direct access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your business, would it be worth the $1,997? Drop me yes or no. Right? If all this did, right? If you came to the Access Granted conference, which is my signature conference, and all it did was give you access to a direct, a group of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your business, would it be worth the $1,997? Drop me yes or no. Drop me yes or no. Let me know in the chat if it did that, right? Christopher says yes. There's another LinkedIn user who says yes. Okay. Good. Absolutely, it would be worth it. And let me tell you guys this, the reason why I became an international speaker so quickly is because when I started my speaking business in 2015, I invested in a speakers conference in Delaware. Okay. So I flew from Texas to Delaware for a speakers conference. The conference was $4,000. And that did not include my flight. That did not include my hotel. That did not include food. It only included the conference. But guess what? It was one of the best investments I've ever made because in less than a year, I became an international speaker. In less than a year of joining that program, I was doing my very first international speaker in Darling, South Africa. So it was absolutely worth it. Okay. So again, for your priority access ticket, you're going to get a welcome package. You're going to get a dining experience. You're going to get the cocktails in the courtyard, $158. 30-day access to my Monetize LinkedIn course, $197. All access to the keynote and breakout sessions, meaning you're going to have direct access to all the investors and financial professionals in that room. It's a total value of $1,997. Today, we're doing it for $497. Today's price is $497. And that's not even the best part, guys. I have partnered with PayPal because I've been such a loyal customer with PayPal for over the years. I called them and asked them, could I offer my people a buy now, pay later option? So now I have 3 options. You can pay in full, you can do a payment plan with me, or you can go through PayPal and do a buy now, pay later option. And let me show you how easy it is, right? There's 2 easy options. You can pay in 4, right? Which means you would do 1 down payment. You'd have 3 more to go, right? And you can do 4 interest-free, right? No interest, bi-weekly payments without the hassle of late fees. So you're no interest and no late fees. A payment of $124.25 bi-weekly. That's one option. Or you can do pay monthly. If you can't pay bi-weekly, you can pay monthly to give yourself even more time. So you can do 6, 12, or 24-month payments. And again, no sign up and no late fees. So we've made it as easy as it can possibly get. Okay. And I'm going to wrap up with this. And someone told me this years ago, and it really stuck with me. If you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. If you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. When it comes to funding, you've got to be committed, right? LeBron James is one of the, best players in the league, in the NBA. But why? Did you know LeBron James spends over $1 million a year on his body, right? I'm talking cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, personal chefs and massages, special equipment, right? He invests over $1 million in his body every year. But guess what? His level of investment off the court is the reason why he gets the returns on the court. Okay? So again, if you're wanting investors to invest in you, they need to see you investing in yourself. You know how you invest in yourself? You meet them where they are. You get into those rooms where they are. And for you guys, I'm directly sending you, I'm giving you a direct invitation to my Access Granted conference where you can meet the directors in the room. Okay. So I'll show you this quick video and then we've got a few more minutes.
Hey, my name is Kimberly Evans. I am the founder and CEO of Just a Rideshare, a rideshare community of women drivers and riders, providing a safe alternative rideshare experience based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, I wanted to tell you guys about an event that I attended last year called Access Granted. And guess what? It's about to happen again in March, and I am so excited. Listen, this pint sized powerhouse, Seneca Dunmore, has put on an amazing event in past, and she is doing it again. So last year, and I have my notes even from last year, she everything was great from top to bottom. The camaraderie, the networking, the food was amazing, and the speakers that she brought in actually had powerful content to share. Everything from alternative business funding with Tamika Stafford, right? It was amazing, to angel investors, Padowitz, who talked about their theses and companies that they typically invest in. There were accountants there and strategists and planners, and it was just so amazing. And then Seneca herself talked about the power of crowdfunding and how you can basically use crowdfunding for anything. And it was a powerful lesson. So since the event, I have gone on to pursue and to win grant funding, which she talked a lot about that as well. And it was just so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what she has in store for us this year. So if you are in the Charlotte area or anywhere close to the Charlotte area, you do not want to miss Access Granted this year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn. Look it up and be in the house because, again, I cannot wait to see what's coming this year. All right, thanks.
And again, guys, this is someone who came to both of my conferences and has received funding, right? Running an amazing organization out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And again, this conference is going to be in Houston, Texas, June 16th and 17th. So the conference will be in Houston, Texas, June 16th and 17th at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. Okay. So again, like I said, today you can get started for just $497. And if you don't have all of the resources today, you can do the buy now, pay later plan. Okay, so you all you have to do is go to youraccessgranted.com/tickets. And for the buy now, pay later option, you just hit buy now, pay later. And let me put the address here in the chat. Okay, so I've just put the address in the chat. And again, let me start the timer here. All right, guys. So any questions that you have for me? Again, we're only accepting 100 people in that room. We've got a lot of tickets sold already, right? And so we want to make sure that we extend this opportunity to you as well. If you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a startup, right? You are the founder of your own organization. Funders are looking for you. There are plenty of resources out here, right? I just showed you the banks, all of the resources they have. I had direct contacts with all of those banks, right? I pulled together a team of venture capitalists and investors and financial professionals who will be talking to you about how to access the capital and who could potentially make an investment into your organization as well. So if I were you, I would not wait. I would not hesitate. I would get in the room with those funders, right? You want to get in the room with those funders. Do I have any questions? Please drop your questions in the chat. I'll go ahead and take questions now. I will take questions now. Any questions? You see it, I just put it here in the chat. youraccessgranted.com/tickets. And Christopher, are you on LinkedIn? Let me look for you on LinkedIn. Let's see. What's your last name? Taylor. Okay, Christopher, I'm about to drop it in your LinkedIn chat. Okay, I just dropped it in the link for you. All right. Any questions before I go? All right, guys. Well, if you no, you're very welcome. You're welcome, Christopher. If you guys think of anything, you have any more questions, just send me a LinkedIn DM. That's the best way to catch me. Okay. You have any questions? And again, get in that room. We're going to have venture capitalists, angel investors. We're going to have the banks there. Funding is available. You got to get in the room with the people with the money. Okay. So don't try to figure it out on your own. You know, if you haven't done a good job of that up until now, you probably need more help and resources. And that's what I'm here to provide. All right, guys. You guys have a great Memorial weekend. See you soon.